Let's watch this bully video.
Right as I uploaded this video, I got smacked with the dreaded blocked in all territories message.
Damn.
The copyright on this movie is strict. It'll be on Rumble. I also got hit with all kinds of crazy messages while editing this. I just recovered what I could. My computer sounds like a NASA aircraft right now. I'm going to bed. We're going down the Larry Clark rabbit hole yet again with this third feature film, Bully. We may be nearing the end for Larry though. I may do another Day in Paradise at some point, but I really don't see anyone asking me to cover anything he made after 2005. Bully 2001 retells a true story based on
I never seen this shit, chat.
20-year-old Bobby Kent, with the movie taking place in an unspecified part of southern Florida. After enduring years of alleged physical and sexual abuse, Bobby's friends, 20-year-old Marty, 18-year-old Allie, and 19-year-old Lisa, were at the center of it all. Alongside them were Lisa's 20-year-old cousin Derek, 18-year-old Donnie, and 18-year-old Heather, who played supporting characters. Fed up with this cycle of abuse, together they made the choice to take justice into their own hands with the help of a hitman who might as well have been hired off of Craigslist. This is the kind of story that doesn't offer any easy answers. It leaves you unsure of who to feel sympathy for, who to blame. It blurs the lines between right and wrong. Some see these kids as nothing more than cold-blooded murderers, while others see them as victims of relentless harassment who felt cornered and desperate for a way out of a bully's control.
I want you to suck my dick.
That might just be the craziest opening line I've ever heard. Bobby is the piece that brings this entire story together. His violent behavior is what ties everyone to him, and it's eventually what leads to his demise. Bobby is portrayed as a very spoiled person, coming from a wealthy family. His father takes care of his expenses and holds him to a high standard, discouraging him from spending time with people he sees as less desirable. He looks down on Bobby's friends, especially Marty, his 20-year-old friend who dropped out of high school and spends most of his time surfing, a hobby that his father considers to be a waste of time.
I said I haven't seen Marty lately. He's probably too busy with his surfing, a game that children play at the beach.
I guess surfing is supposed to be some kind of loser activity. I don't know. That shit
was cool niggas, yeah.
You know how much strength it
I thought surfing was like for cool niggas.
In the middle of the fucking ocean. If anything, he should be discouraging him from hanging out with Marty over his doo-doo garbage ass rapping skills.
These days, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move the lips. Motherfuckers are act like they forgot about Marty.
But what his father doesn't realize is that the very same son he sees as a charming, respectable kid has been brutally abusing Marty since they were in the 3rd grade. The extent of Bobby's abuse doesn't stop at him hitting Marty whenever things don't go his way, but he also humiliates him, often in sexually degrading ways. He clearly gets some kind of twisted satisfaction from emasculating him. One of the
I seen the beat. I'm not ready to rap right now, so
includes an early scene in the film where Bobby interrupts Marty during a sexual encounter with his girlfriend Lisa, sneaking up from behind and hitting her with the belt.
Ah, what the fuck?
I'm next.
The scene cuts abruptly after that, but Bobby essentially assaulted Marty's girlfriend right in front of him, which is degrading in one of the worst possible ways. While he never does anything explicitly sexual with Marty, his obsession with humiliating him sexually, especially in front of women, is constant. Anytime he feels that his ego is being threatened when women show Marty attention, he'll go out of his way to pursue them or make snide remarks to remind Marty to stay in his place.
You're pretty hot, sir.
Thanks.
What fucking planet you living on?
Marty looked over at him after that compliment like he was a woman getting hit on in front of her man or something. That's just the type of chokehold Bobby has him in. Instead of brushing it off, Bobby immediately snaps at them, completely dismissing the compliment because it bothered him seeing Marty get attention from women. I also imagine that in this scene, Bobby's sense of superiority knowing Marty has no education and no real financial standing makes Bobby believe that he should be the one the girls are drawn to instead of Marty. At one point, Bobby even convinces him to dance at a gay nightclub for money, and he does it just because he tells him to. Not only this, but he also
I'm not eating his butt, the fuck. I mean, some chicken and some spaghetti. I don't eat butt. Stop playing with me. I get my butt ate. The fuck.
Nigga, you gay.
Introduces him to phone sex work, which explains that weird opening line. He also introduces him to phone sex work, which explains that weird opening line from the beginning of the movie. Even fully aware of how uncomfortable this makes him, he doesn't quit persuading him to do it, and Marty goes along with this probably for the money, likely because he doesn't have that same financial safety net that Bobby does.
Can we move?
Nah, I ain't looking to the beach.
What kind of a car then? I begged my fucking parents to move.
You could move away yourself.
I'm not even a fucking high school graduate.
That financial disparity adds another layer to Bobby's control. He knows Marty could probably use the money and uses that as leverage, using Marty's desperation as something he can manipulate. Moments like that make it obvious that Bobby is the textbook definition of a sadist who enjoys humiliating others.
Nigga, bully.
Marty isn't the only one Bobby targets in this way though. He uses sex to make others uncomfortable as well. On at least 2 separate occasions, Bobby decides to play adult videos involving gay men, which in real life he produced himself alongside Marty, who claimed that they were only in on it for the money. In the movie, he would play these videos while company was over at his house. Even after they would express that they didn't want to watch these videos, he basically tries to force them to. He does this to both Allie and Derek, who was the cousin of Marty's girlfriend.
This is gross, dude. I'm gonna wait outside.
But you don't like a fucking cake?
No, it's gross shit, man, alright? I don't like it at all, alright?
This fool is just appalled at the fact that his homie doesn't want to watch gay porn with him. With Allie, however, he becomes violent after she expresses discomfort with the videos. In this one particular scene, they were going to have sex, but Bobby decides to show her some homemade videos first, which she asks him to turn off, but he refuses. Feeling threatened by the idea that she would challenge him, this quickly shifts the situation from consensual to violent in seconds, serving as a punishment for not abiding by his what I say goes mentality. He raped her. This is just one example of what happens when someone challenges Bobby, which is exactly why it was so hard for anyone to stand up for themselves. Another question this obsession with gay pornography raises is whether Bobby might have been gay himself. While producing these videos was simply framed as a money-making scheme, with neither him or Marty actually partaking in the acts themselves, it makes you wonder if Bobby was struggling with his identity. This, alongside the fixation on humiliating Marty in sexual ways, and his need to assert dominance through sexual control, seems to be his way of repressing his true feelings through violence, lashing out at others to avoid confronting something within himself, while also destroying everyone around him. What makes it even more disturbing is how normalized his behavior becomes within the group. No one seriously challenges Bobby because they're afraid of him. He's created a system where fear and humiliation are tools he uses to keep everyone in line. Even his verbal harassment, the way he talks to anyone who isn't his father when he's putting on his charming act to keep his bills paid, is something everyone just learns to live with. All of them stay quiet, endure it, or laugh it off because confronting Bobby was impossible.
It's been like this since we were little fucking kids, Lisa. He's always been like this. There's not a goddamn thing I can do about it.
That dynamic where someone is so controlling and toxic that they darken the entire atmosphere every time they're around is what drives the movie's tension. Bobby's reign of cruelty becomes so overwhelming that Marty, Lisa, Allie, and even distant friends of the 3 main victims of his abuse come to believe that murder is the only way to end it. And what makes Bully such a haunting film is not just about the murder, it's about a slow, collective moral collapse. Even before the murder took place, no character in this story is without some serious flaws. Bobby's dad isn't entirely wrong about Marty being a loser, but not for the reasons he thinks. Marty himself is also in an abusive relationship with his girlfriend Lisa, but in this case, the roles are reversed. Marty would be the one who physically assaults her. Instead of being the one left bruised like he is with Bobby, he becomes the abuser, taking his anger out on Lisa after finding out that she's pregnant.
I'm gonna be your fucking dad, Lisa.
Let go of me, Marty. Please.
You're gonna get the goddamn money you're getting fucking fixed, do you hear me?
You hear me, goddammit? Do you fucking hear me?
It's a disturbing example of how trauma doesn't always end with the victim. Lisa also becomes a part of this cycle. When Allie confides in her about Bobby assaulting her after the video incident, Lisa dismissed her by saying,
"The fucker just raped me." Shit, Allie, make up your fucking mind. I mean, I told you he was kinky.
Lisa, who was also a victim of Bobby herself, initially refuses to acknowledge her own best friend's trauma. Whether this was done out of denial of what happened, or maybe it was even possibly said out of spite or jealousy, because Lisa is often portrayed as less desirable than Allie, it's unclear, but maybe that constant...
Yo, whoever directed these movies, bro, that nigga is probably psychotic, bro. How do you think of such ploys that are so deep? Like, and so mentally deranged, bro? That shit crazy. That shit crazy. I might have to watch this movie too, though. These shits is mad interesting. I like shit like this, but not like that. Chill.
Comparison quietly fueled some resentment, or maybe she just simply wanted to maintain her connection to the group because, after all, Bobby was Marty's best friend and murder wasn't thought about yet at this point. Another thing that adds on to this layer of complex relationships is the fact that Lisa really quickly attaches herself to Marty. After their very first night together, only hooking up in a car, she already begins telling her mom about him, presenting him as her boyfriend immediately.
I got a new boyfriend, Mom.
A new what?
A new boyfriend.
A boyfriend?
But when Marty finds out that she's pregnant, his reaction is cold and explosive, showing that he never saw the relationship the same way that she did. And that need for validation might have played a role in what was to come next, because it would be Lisa who first mentions the idea of murder after Marty jokes that the only way to escape Bobby's bullying would be to kill him.
So there's nothing we can do to stop him ever.
Kill him, that's about it.
Obviously, he wasn't being serious in this
Oh,
conversation.
shit.
That was kind of just a passing thought. But Lisa doesn't laugh this off. She agrees and keeps
Lisa
pushing this
Crazed.
idea to kill Bobby until it becomes a reality. But her motive really came down to her infatuation with Marty. She believed that by getting Bobby out of the picture, she could protect him. Without Bobby around, she could finally have a happy relationship. And he was getting in the way of that. If Bobby was gone, her and Marty could be free. She said she didn't want to see him suffer anymore. She wanted him to stand up for himself. She didn't want Bobby picking on him ever again. Once Lisa reveals that she wanted Bobby dead, Allie is immediately down with the plan.
This is the way for everyone to take care of their fucking problems because Bobby is everybody's fucking problem.
I gotta go down to Fort Lauderdale to have my friend Lisa kill this asshole named Bobby.
Usually I'd clown on something like this because she has no reaction whatsoever when told about it. Lisa just calls her up like, yeah, we gonna shoot this motherfucker. And she's like, okay, cool. But he did just commit a felony on her, so I guess I could see why she could care less.
Nigga,
I give a lot of
crazy.
passes on this one because even as ridiculous as some things might seem, it's based on an actual event. It'd be a whole different story if Larry was just making a movie about dudes twerking on stage for no reason though. Cause he's bored.
This shit real. That adds some other layers to it. So this Bobby nigga really existed? What the fuck? Yo, something's wrong with that nigga. What the fuck? What the fucky?
Would be on his ass right now. Marty's home
the
life
fuck,
is
Isabi?
essential to understanding why he tolerated Bobby's abuse for so long. He lives with his parents who appear to turn a blind eye to his bruises every time he's attacked, never once protecting him from Bobby or even simply asking where the bruises came from in the first place. His family comes off as very emotionally distant. There's no real guidance being given from his parents, nor any real conversations. It almost seems like they're just people who share a house together and nothing more. He's already dropped out of high school and is clearly directionless, yet his parents don't intervene. Maybe he just doesn't know that he deserves better because he doesn't have anyone to tell him that. Marty never really pushes back against Bobby. Even when he tries, he ends up running right back to him. He never confides in
That's that
anyone
one
about
shit,
it either,
that Down
until he
syndrome
meets
or whatever.
Lisa. She would become the first person to even really acknowledge what was going on. She was the first person who encouraged him to fight back, to stand up for himself. At first, he seems shocked, even embarrassed that she would address what was happening between them, probably because he was used to it being an elephant in the room that no one talked about. It's easy to see how he would cling on to this idea. Allie's character carries her own burdens. Unlike Lisa, Allie appears to have a bit of a more complicated past. She's mentioned to have been married before and had a child, which
Fucking
she left
depressed.
in the care.
She broke my heart. Hold on now, Toy. What you talking about, Toy? Oh no, she didn't. Oh man, what you talking about, bro? That's how it was. She did broke up with me. Hold on, bro. I'm OD confused, gang. Elaborate. You just got broken up with? Damn. That shit crazy, bro. That's just a sign, bro. You gotta get in your bag, bro. You gotta get in your bag, bro. We all some hustle junkies. Her mom told her to, so she and you just gotta get in your bag, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. You ain't broken up with, bro. I ain't gonna lie. The only way to get over like a heartbreak is to focus on yourself, like in real life. Because the more you learn about yourself, the more you can accept that reality, and the more you can just move on. It just get a lot easier. So I'm telling you, bro, lock in on your hustle, focus on you, and you got that shit, man. Trust me, bro. I would not lie to you. We hustle junkies around these parks. You can't just get broken and just sit there. You gotta work 10 times harder, bro. Not for her, but for yourself, gang. Facts. What the fuck?
Her parents. This sets her apart from Lisa, who gets portrayed as the awkward best friend that's infatuated with her first boyfriend. Going back to Lisa's downplaying of Allie's trauma, she's the one who first mentions the idea of their first and failed murder plot, in which she suggests that Allie should try to lure Bobby in by offering to sleep with him again, basically asking her to put herself back into the hands of her abuser. Even with Allie agreeing to this, it's not hard to see how wrong this was. With all of that being said, even with Lisa being
if you got an abuser, bro, get away from him, bro. You do not want to develop Stockholm syndrome. You do not want to stay in a situation that is not good for you. Got an abuser, get away from them and get seek professional help. Facts. Seek professional help.
Of Marty and Bobby herself, it's safe to say that she's a pretty bad friend in this movie. Also, you probably shouldn't get too attached or feel like anyone is necessarily right in the story, because they all do shit that's just fucked up to each other at some point in one way or another. Basically, what I'm getting at here is that all of these characters are pretty much pieces of shit.
What if we, drive by his house when he's in his yard or some shit? Shoot him down. Cops think it's a gang thing.
Shit, Lisa, that's a fucking great idea.
That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. The supporting friends, Donnie, Heather, and Derek, become more important by the second half of the movie. When Allie brought Donnie and Heather into the picture, it felt like she was dragging more lost souls into an already sinking ship. The plan was already disorganized and reckless, but involving even more people is where things started to get messy. In the movie, Allie began dating Donnie Semenik in between messing around with Bobby. Donnie wasn't close with Bobby, and he didn't carry the years of trauma from him the way someone like Marty did, but when Allie tells him that Bobby sexually assaulted her, Donnie was completely fine with joining in on this plan to kill him. Then there was Heather. Donnie was fresh out of rehab and should probably be trying to keep as far away from these people as possible, but instead finds herself getting swept up into a plan to kill someone she barely knows. Just another story of a person with no direction in life going along with something she really had nothing to do with in the first place. And then there's Derek, the cousin of Lisa, a 20-year-old guy who seems more interested in playing Mortal Kombat on acid than engaging with reality. He's also not emotionally invested in this plan all that much. In the movie, the only thing Bobby's really done to him is show him these weird videos. Just like Donnie and Heather, he's another bored kid with no direction in life, going along with whatever everyone else was doing. By this point, everyone has agreed that Bobby deserves what's coming to him.
Y'all people are not a nan person in this movie black. Leave it at that. And it's based off a real story. I don't know though.
And if not directly affected by him, the things he's done to the people they care about could make them care less about him dying. Allie would not only introduce Donnie and Heather to this plan, but she would also be the one to source out a so-called hitman by the name of Derek Kaufman. Not to get him confused with Lisa's cousin Derek, this hitman was brought in to seal the deal and make this thing serious. But the truth is, Derek didn't seem to have any real control over the situation at all. He barely knew these people. He doesn't come off as a stone cold killer, just another bored 20-year-old Florida drifter. Allie hyped him up like he was this streetwise enforcer who was gonna keep everyone in check, but he didn't do any of that. The plan was a mess from the start.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. How could you... Word two, not a day in my life am I ever letting a nigga named Bobby bully me. In fact, I'm never letting a nigga named Bobby bully me. Like, shut your bitch ass up, Bobby. Bitch ass Bob. Like, bro, Bobby's getting stuck in lockers, bro. We don't... Come on, bro. You gonna be scared of a nigga named Bobby? Holy shit, yeah, nah. Fuck Bobby. I'm gonna give it a buck.
Sloppy as hell, and to top it off, he's played by none other than Leo Fitzpatrick. Yeah, Telly from Kids. Apparently he survived that AIDS pack and ended up in South Florida running with another group of lost teens. Full circle, I guess.
The fucking guy we're gonna kill, man, is just back like another fucking, just ram his fucking head in, you know?
I don't know, man.
Alright, how about this knife? This knife is good, I ain't trying to like sharpen it and shit, but
I don't know, man.
What do you mean you don't know? This is your fucking job, Telly. You're supposed to be the hitman.
You know, we fucking raped her.
Yeah, and I mean, just think about it. He won't even let Marty have a life. I mean, Bobby beats the shit out of him. He does anything Bobby doesn't like.
Fucking mine.
Bro, everybody knows at this point. That man's been beating your ass since y'all was 7 years old. It's okay, bro. They understand.
Damn.
Kill him! Fucking kill him!
I wouldn't trust these kids for shit if I was the hitman. Do you see how much they run their mouths?
I wouldn't
Dude was
either.
begging to go to jail.
Look, we brought you here because you're supposed to be the gangster and the hitman and all like that.
Yeah?
Well,
I don't know, man.
Basically, the plan they wrestled
don't
together
know,
was
man.
to lure Bobby out to this isolated, swampy area by having Allie show off and let him drive a car that he liked as bait. No surprise, the chance to drive a cool car is all it takes to lure him in the middle of nowhere,
holy
considering
shit.
this is the same guy who had a full-on mental breakdown when Marty barely tapped a curb while driving his car. As if his dad wasn't the one paying the insurance anyway. If that didn't work, the backup plan was to offer the possibility of sex with Allie. They had actually already tried killing him this way before, which is why the car was introduced this time. She basically gave him the cheeks for nothing because Lisa was too scared to shoot him the first time. Once
This
they
bitch.
successfully got him cornered and Bobby let his guard down and turned his
How
back,
the fuck
Heather
are you gonna get the nigga who's literally your destiny top op dead in front of you and not up the bleezy? How are you not gonna up the stick and bust his skull? Like, come on, bro. Let's keep it buck. How the fuck are you not gonna do it to him? Let's be honest, bro. I mean, I know niggas aren't made killers, but come on, bro. You can't let him get away the first time because that might have been the last time you had the chance.
drops the code word they'd agreed on to signal that it was safe for Donnie to sneak up behind him. Donnie takes the first stab right to the back of Bobby's neck, followed by Marty stabbing him in his lower abdomen. Then it just becomes chaos. They take turns one after another, repeatedly stabbing him. Eventually, the hitman gives him the final blow to the head with a baseball bat, and then they toss his body into the water, hoping the crabs will handle the rest. The moment Donnie made the first move, Heather starts panicking. The cousin Derek stands frozen, doing absolutely nothing. Allie basically stays in the car the whole time after he gets stabbed, and then they just bolt out of there, leaving behind tire tracks, blood, and Marty even drops the sheath to his knife. It's like no one thought past step one. They decide to return to the scene after realizing just how much they've screwed up in a last-ditch effort to clean up everything they left behind. But for whatever reason, Lisa's dumbass just throws the weapons out into the open water, As if that ever works. Easily recoverable.
Never works,
Nothing about
bro.
this was smart. It was sloppy, emotional, and filled with hesitation. Because most of them looked like they regretted it immediately and didn't even want to be there anymore. Except Donnie, who genuinely looked like he was having the time of his fucking life. This might sound crazy to say because murder shouldn't be a good thing, but surprisingly, the murder scene doesn't feel satisfying at all. Not even after nearly 2 hours of enduring the most toxic, unbearable character I've seen on screen in my life. You may go into this thinking that there'd be some relief watching Bobby finally get what's coming to him, but there isn't. That feeling never comes. This is what this film does so well. It doesn't glamorize the murder, it just forces you to sit in the discomfort of it. I got that sinking, we're screwed feeling. That instant gut drop, like, yep, they're done. And the following days after the emotions died down, this whole thing would become a laughingstock to them, especially Lisa.
We did it. I killed that guy.
As scared as they were acting during the murder, I would not expect them to be bragging and laughing about it during sex, but here we are. She's acting like this is her, oh, my man finally stood up for himself moment, like he won a fist fight against him or something. I mean, y'all literally cornered him. You can't even brag about that. You're going to jail. This bragging wouldn't last too long though, because the walls were slowly closing in on them after a whole lot of self-snitching.
I need someone to say I was with them like the whole time, so like I could be like, so no, I wasn't anywhere near any of those assholes that night. I was nowhere near them.
What kind of assholes gonna lie to the cops about a murder?
Oh yeah, your ass going to jail, boy.
I ain't gonna lie, you told the wrong nigga, cause like we all done been in a situation like this, not as like grave as this, but to where we had some information we were sitting on and we told a nigga, and his reaction let us know that this nigga is going to snitch. And that's how you know you're fucked, bro. I'm gonna give it a buck. That's how you know you're cooked. Give it a buck, bro. Like, when the nigga be like, huh? What? Why would you, when a nigga start questioning you, it's runs. You might as well wrap that shit up. That nigga is untrustworthy.
I'm glad there's still some level-headed people in this universe. Everyone involved basically just spends the last 40 minutes telling on themselves. In the final scene, they all get caught, although most of these would end up getting reduced to lesser sentences, with Marty's death sentence getting reduced to life in prison. Lisa, instead of serving life, would be sentenced to 22 years, only serving 11. Allie's 40-year sentence would be later reduced to 17 years. She would only serve 6. The cousin Derek would serve only 5 years in prison, and Heather would only serve 3, while Donnie, the hitman, and Marty would remain with life in prison. I still find myself questioning how I really feel about all of this. I mean, I feel sympathy for what Bobby put them through, especially Marty with all of those years of emotional, physical, and even sexual abuse. And especially considering how young they were, I really wish they'd chosen another way to go about all of this. Because once you take a life, that's it. I kind of wish they would have all just gotten together and jumped them and just beat the shit out of them. They were so young. That's one of the craziest parts. You know, they had their entire futures ahead of them. Some of them eventually did get reduced sentences and are free now, like I said before, but others like Marty just never got that chance. Even the ones that did get released, the first thing that's always gonna come up when you search their names is a murder case. That's something that follows you for the rest of your life. They'll never be able to fully move on from being 18 to 20 years old. That single decision will keep replaying forever. The luckiest thing that happened to him in the last 30 years was beating the electric chair. His life has been frozen in time since the moment he was 20 years old, and now he's 52. And the final scene drives this home in one of the most haunting ways I've ever seen, with an eerie song repeating the words "Under the Big Bright Yellow Sun" playing as we watch these freeze frames of the perpetrators laughing, smiling, dancing, those moments of joy from earlier before all of this happened, with their sentences displayed over them. This song choice is haunting. Often in these movies, Larry will choose very neutral music, almost in a dark comedic way, to highlight how numb and aimless his characters' lives are. These kids are drifting through life with no direction, and now they're locked up. not even grasping the weight of what they've done, still bickering and trying to remove blame from themselves, taking no accountability for what they did.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I didn't do shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm here for.
Not gonna lie though, seeing the amount of years in some of these sentences gave me an existential crisis. Even knowing that they got reduced, just seeing this is kind of crazy. I mean, I can't imagine 40 years in a cell with Queen Latifah and set it off making you her girlfriend is crazy. This story is just so hard to digest. It's a true wake-up call that serves as an example of the permanence of your decisions. You forever give that abusive person you wanted to escape from the power to control you for the rest of your life when you do something this extreme. Bobby Kent could have become a distant memory someday that people laughed at. Instead, Marty, Donald, and Derek Kaufman will have to think about Bobby every day for the rest of their lives. Not because they want to, but because they let him push them over the edge. I'll end this off by saying, don't ever give anyone that kind of power over you. Lastly, I wouldn't recommend taking everything that happened in this movie as literal fact. Like any film, certain details may be switched for the sake of entertainment. If you're looking for a more accurate breakdown of what actually happened in the real event, there's a Forensic Files episode on this case available on YouTube that's worth checking out. For the next movie breakdown, I was considering revisiting Todd Solondz. I will be covering Happiness very soon. That was highly requested after the Welcome to the Dollhouse video. Happiness is a movie that covers the kind of things that break families apart. And by that, I'm not just talking about affairs. I mean, we're talking about one of the main characters being the kind of person that ends up having to get cut out of all of the family photos and never mentioned again. It is the true definition of suburban depravity. I've also been debating if I should make a full-length breakdown on Larry's first movie, Kids, which I've basically made a reference to in every video at this point. I just figured that since there's already
Yo, I fuck with this, bro. Clap it up for Rose. Clap it up for Rose. I fuck with Rose. Rose makes some good content. That shit was crazy, bro. That shit was OD crazy. Rest in peace, bro, and you know, I hope everybody finds their way to something, I guess.